They are at, and I have a 7-year-old, 7.5, and almost a 6-year-old. And so curious if, like, how to recognize and maybe help facilitate some of the work that we as adults are doing or have done, with our inner work. I'm guessing the inner, or the getting back to the alpha and the theta waves and just having stillness is fantastic. But so I guess my question is there anything as a parent that one can do to sort of uphold what we're doing now?
I say yes. I'm not a counselor or therapist. I'm a teacher of consciousness or a belief change worker. And I would say that from my reading of people like Gordon Neufeld, the attachment therapist, Dan Siegel, and just the workshops I've attended, my understanding is as follows. First of all, when you heal your mind, your whole family benefits. So you just got to do your work, which sounds like you're up for it, and they will benefit. Now, like you, I have teenagers, but I learned this stuff after my kids were already like 6 and 7. I really became very aware of this, and a few years later, and I was like, oh man, I screwed it up. Now I could do so much better. So I tried to convince my wife to have a third, because then I knew I could do it well. She wasn't having any of that. She was done. I was like, we messed these two up. I can do it well now. I know how to help them. 0 to 7, I got it down. What I've been told and what I believe and what I'm witnessing in my children is twofold. One, you just do your work, they will benefit. Okay. They're in the now, especially if they're under 7, they're in the now. And when we get into the inner child section of our work, as an adult, only you can grow up your child and heal your child. However, if you have a conscious parent, you can heal their wounded child. So let's say you have a 20-year-old, but they have a wounded 4-year-old in them. They get to heal their own selves. They're 20 years old. However, if you're the parent and you wake up and become conscious, you can do some healing with them. So you have an opportunity because you're always their parent. And the child's always looking for that love and acceptance from a parent. So I'm 50-some years old. My parents still talk to me from when I moved away for school at age 17-ish, and they still treat me like I'm 17, right? However, even though I'm 50-some years old, it does affect me if they're not approving of me. So they still have that kind of influence on me. And I'm conscious and awake, so I can work through that. However, if they were purely conscious, it'd make my life probably a lot easier.
Yeah.
So if you become conscious now and practice this, then your kids got it made the rest of their lives. It doesn't matter how old they are. That's my thinking of it. Okay. And when we do the inner child, this will tie into that a lot.
Great.
Okay. So remember Gandhi? So Lao Tzu said this one. To me, they say the same thing, right? Watch your thoughts because they become your words. Watch your words, they become actions. Watch your actions, they become habits. Watch your habits, they become character. Watch your character, it becomes your destiny. Comes back to your thoughts create your reality, your programs. So work on the inside versus the outside. Your thoughts are the seeds. So again, everything that exists in this planet comes from a thought. And then just internally, you can grow flowers or you can grow weeds. So if you don't like, as Bruce Lipton says, what your life situation is right now, then you got to go work on the inside. So I believe I made this saying. I've been saying this forever. I don't know if I read this somewhere or I came up with this, but I've been saying this for a long time. Where the mind goes, the chi follows. What you focus on becomes your reality. Some of you might have heard the expression where the mind goes, energy grows. I think Joe Dispenza says that one. What you resist persists. So if you're resisting it, you're still putting your attention to it. Which wolf do you want to feed? What you give your attention to becomes more. And so we're going to follow into gratitude, which is one of the choose again tools I talk about. However, gratitude is one of those tools that you can just use on your own, just like the breath, do several times a day. Practicing gratitude daily has shown to change the brain and change people's experience of happiness. So we're going to spend a little bit more time on gratitude. The bottom line is where the mind goes, the chi, the energy follows. So what you focus on becomes your reality. Like I shared that analogy, if you're looking for a certain car, you're looking to buy a certain car, all of a sudden you see that make and model, even color. Or patients looking for babies, fertility, they notice everybody's having babies, right? And so wherever you put your attention, that becomes your reality. So you get to choose then whether you want to grow flowers or weeds is what this is all about. I heard this story once of to talk about your focus and where your thoughts go, you create your reality. The idea is that there was this beautiful exhibit where the ceiling was hand painted with 1 million tiles. So each tile was individually painted. And they closed down the exhibit. They said it was worthless because in the corner, one of the tiles, half of it cracked and fell off. So there was 999,000 beautiful hand-painted tiles, and there was one missing tile. But because they focused on that one missing tile, the exhibit was shut down and considered worthless. To put this into simple terms, you could have 9 good things in your life and 1 bad thing. And if you focus on the 1 bad, then your life appears to suck. Vice versa, you could have 9 bad things going on in your life and 1 good thing, and you focus on the 1 good thing, then your life becomes amazing. So your focus is really key. Where the mind goes, the chi follows. What you choose to focus on will end up becoming your reality. And so I'd like to do an experiment with you guys, a focus test to see how good you are at focusing, because you get to choose now whether you want to focus on negative or positive, right? So we're going to do a experiment, and I'll set this up. If you've done this before, then please don't give away the answer or anything in the chat room. You're going to see 2 groups of players passing a basketball. We want to test your ability to focus. So you're going to count how many times the players in the white shirts pass the basketball. And at the end, tell us how many have passed the basketball. So I want you to focus on the white shirts passing the basketball. So how many basketballs did you guys see? Just curious. Put in the chat room. How many basketballs did you see? Did you count? 11.
15.
15. Anybody else? 10. All right. Let's continue. So it's going to start again. And I'm going to let it go all the way through. I paused it so you can count again. By the way, you've watched this video already. Did anybody notice a gorilla walk through the basketball players? No, eh? You didn't see a gorilla? So I'm playing this again. You missed that? Did you guys all miss that? Many of you missed that? So this is where we stopped it. I just rewound it. Now I'm going to let it play forward because they're going to show you. So the correct answer is 15. So you had very good solution focus, right? But did you see the gorilla? And you didn't. Remember my fibromyalgia patient that walked by the gym every day but didn't see it? So you got narrow focus and you have open focus. If you're narrow focus, then that's all you see. And if you're open focus, then you see more opportunities. And that's why where the mind goes, the chi follows. What you focus on becomes your reality. So you were focusing on the white shirts passing the basketball. So much so, come on, there was a gorilla there and we all missed it. I missed it the first time I saw this too. So when people say, I did this, and you said, no, you did, like, you can't see most of the things that are going on in your life. You're missing it. As you practice these tools, that the opportunities and everything we want to have a great life on this planet, for you to have a great life with the politicians who are in power, with what's going on in the environment, you can still be loving life. Again, it's all going to be based on you. You get to experience life. Viktor Frankl in a concentration camp probably had experienced better life, even though his environment was, you wouldn't wish upon anybody, compared to what we have living in free North America. So what you appreciate, appreciates. And so I'm going to take a quick moment to express my gratitude, and then we're going to get into the gratitude exercises. So I want to just share with you some of the best influences in my life. Gila Golub, local in Vancouver, a teacher of consciousness. I've been studying with her since at least 2014. And big thank you to her, opened me up to so many options, opportunities, and learning, and books and teachers. Dr. Joe Dispenza, another teacher of consciousness, his workshops, his meditations, his books. Bill Bankston, and you'll see Bill Bankston's on my laurenbrown.com. So I've got some really good interviews if you're interested in looking at healing on a whole new paradigm shift. Grateful that I did clinical hypnotherapy training, that I trained as a doctor of Chinese medicine, trained as a chartered accountant, a CPA, and a clinical hypnotherapist. That I haven't completed, but I've done the training, but haven't finished my program with Marissa Peer, Rapid Transformational Therapy, NLP, Psych-K, and all the authors I read, and my patients, because whenever I work with a patient, I'm working my stuff. Why? We're more the same than different. And so I'm really grateful for that and the opportunity to work and teach, and that you show up so I have an audience to teach. I'm just grateful. And so what you appreciate appreciates. So it's important to practice your gratitude. So also, gratitude will help you mind the gap. So Dan Sullivan, he's the founder of Strategic Coach, and he wrote a book called Minding the Gap. And basically, when we fall into the gap, we fall into frustration, doubt, we lose our confidence, we feel insecure, depression, and anxiety comes forward. And he shares that if you cannot feel gratitude, then you cannot be happy. And it really hit home for me because when I got introduced to Dan Sullivan work, on the outside, very successful, great clinic, great online platform, great family life, great parents, life was good. But I have to say I wasn't happy. I was struggling. And what I became aware of is that I was so insecure and therefore unhappy that I was overcompensating in my life. I was trying to be, my success was me overcompensating for my insecurities. And then I started realizing we're more the same than different. So many people that do so much in life that are so successful, they're so doing and so successful because they're so insecure. And we're all overcompensating. Overachievers predominantly probably are, I don't know, I haven't done a study, speculative, are probably insecure. And so this really hit home to me. And in Minding the Gap, he has this metaphor, Dan Sullivan, where he says, and I'm massaging it a bit, so he doesn't do it exactly like this, but this is where I got this metaphor from in his book, Minding the Gap. You're going to set sail on a sailboat. So you're at the shore, you're at your dock, you untie the string, and you set sail to the horizon. Now, the horizon, where the earth or the water meets the sky, is a mental construct. It actually doesn't exist, but that's what you're setting forward. This is your lofty goals that you're going towards. But this horizon is just a mental construct. So you're sailing towards it. You go to sleep at night. You have a sleeper underneath. You sleep, and you wake up. You stretch, and you come out, and oh my goodness, the horizon is as far from you now as it was 24 hours ago when you sailed. And you sail so many more hours and you sleep another day and you come out and you look and the horizon is still as far as it ever was.
Well, it's a mental construct. You never reach it. And if you're constantly looking forward, you fall into this gap. And when you fall into this gap when you're comparing yourself from where you are to where you want to be, you fall in the gap. Where I am now and where I want to be, there's a gap. And that leads to doubt, lack of confidence, and it increases your insecurity and you have fear and anxiety. The solution is regularly, daily, to look behind you to see how far you've come. So here I am now. Where did I come from? And this is a form of gratitude, being grateful for how far I've come to this date. So there's the now, and we're going to constantly compare ourselves to now to where we want to be. That's the gap. And that's okay because that helps you reach goals. However, only comparing yourself to where you are to where you want to go will leave you in the gap, which we show you kills your confidence. Remember the hockey player lost his confidence, wasn't very good for his career for a while. And if you stop and look behind you and practice gratitude, what's going well in my life, look how far that shore is now, then that's the cure, the panacea to the gap. So that's why practicing gratitude is key, because gratitude practice is you looking from where you are now to where you were. Okay? Remembering, if you cannot feel gratitude, then you cannot feel joy or happiness. And therefore, you need to take on more work. You need to please more people. You need more marijuana. You need more food. You need more sex, more relationships. You need more, because you can't feel grateful for what you have now. And when you love what you have everything you need. And so they're saying it's not happiness that brings us gratitude. It's the gratitude that brings us happiness. Meaning, people think when I get this, then I will be happy. But they're showing that's not how it works. We think it works that way, but it's the happy people that become successful. The when I have this, I'll be happy doesn't work actually. It's a myth. And it's a hamster wheel that we stay on, and so we stay in the gap. I want to read a little research from the people that are doing mindfulness research and gratitude. Many of us are always looking toward external factors to experience joy and happiness, when really it's related to internal work. Are you starting to hear this theme that it's an inside job over and over again? This is something science it's just starting to grasp as well, as shown by research coming out of UCLA's Mindfulness Awareness Research Center. According to them, having an attitude of gratitude changes the molecular structure of the brains. They're seeing a shift in the brain, a change in the brain. It keeps gray matter functioning and makes us healthier and happier. When you feel happiness, the central nervous system is affected. You are more peaceful, less reactive. That's that present moment, gratitude, present moment, and less resistant. Remember the chi stagnation, resistant. Now that's a really cool way of taking care of your well-being. Sean Anker, in his book, The Happiness Advantage, he refers to a study where they took, let's call them pessimists and optimists, or people that feel lucky versus not feel lucky, I think is how the real study went. And they had them look at these magazines that had pictures of them. And again, I'm massaging how I remember this, but it will work for what we're talking about here. And the one group, the pessimists we'll call them, they counted the pictures. So they count 1, 2, 3, and they change all the pages. And at the end, they hand in their magazine. However, the people that were optimists, they finished the exercise significantly quicker than the pessimists. And the reason being is every magazine was identical. And on the magazine, on the first page near the bottom, it said, if you're reading this, go to the last page to finish this study. And on the last page, or the second last page, it says, show this to the supervisor, collect $250. Well, the pessimist went 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Remember, they missed the gorilla, 6, they're very narrow focus, 7, 8, and they counted it. The optimist, the open focus, the people that are grateful, they went 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, flip over. Oh, hand it in, get $250. Cool, right? So where the mind goes, the chi follows. What you focus on becomes reality. Those that practice gratitude, they start to experience more gratitude in their life because they start to see the opportunities. They're already there. The gym for my fibromyalgia patient always existed, but it wasn't until her shift happened that she could see it. Okay? So in Sean Anker's experiment, it's not his experiment, in his book where he describes the experiment, they take the pessimists and then have them do gratitude and write down 3 things they're grateful for, 3 original things they're grateful for daily for 21 days. They did PET scans before and after, and they saw changes in their brain. And they also said they experienced more luck and gratefulness, gratitude in their life. And it lasted 6 months post that experiment. So the idea here is you don't do it for 21 days, you do it every day. I encourage you to get a beautiful journal. I usually have nice leather journals, so I spend good money on it. These are your grateful moments. And every day I write down 3 things I'm grateful for. Every day. And if I miss a couple of days, I start to feel my anxiety coming up. Am I not good enough? So it's an exercise. Again, that Dayeno, if all you do is gratitude every day, you got enough out of this workshop this weekend. More from the research, from the mindfulness research, the facts from the study. Scientists have discovered that feelings of gratitude can actually change your brain. Feeling gratitude can also be a tool for overcoming depression and anxiety. So my good friend who's feeling anxiety today, and I'm sure many of you are, start practicing writing down what you're grateful for. The gap. Look behind you. What can you be grateful for? Furthermore, scientists have discovered that the heart sends signals to the brain. Your thoughts and feelings of gratitude create a physiological response in your body. Now, there's a lot of people that are not acupuncturists on this, but just check out acupuncturists, heart and brain coherence. You know how our heart is the emperor, it's the king of emotions more than the brain, how we find the heart the central organ over the brain. Brain's just an extraordinary organ in our medicine. It's just neat how they're seeing research. Heart Math is talking about this. There's heart-brain coherence, and it's the heart that's communicating to the brain. It's bidirectional. So in short, practicing gratitude seems to kick off a healthful, self-perpetuating cycle in your brain. Counting your blessings now makes it easier to notice and count them later. So you're training your brain. The more good you see in your life, the happier and more successful you're likely to be. You're training your brain to see things that you're grateful for, to see things that are going well in your life. Where the mind goes, the chi follows. What you focus on becomes reality. And when we're going to do this exercise now and for the rest of your life, choose 3 original things that you can be grateful for. 3 original. A few rules, if I may say, for this process to get the most benefit from a gratitude journal. Yes, you need to write it down. So can I do it in my head? Write it down. Yes, you can do it in your head, but that's your second time you're doing it. Write it in your down at least once a day, and then you're welcome to do it in your head as often as you like. Whenever you think about something to be grateful for, definitely think about it and experience it. However, write it down at least once a day. That's what they did in the experiments, and so write it down. They must be original. Now, if you have something in your life that elicits gratitude, that brings up the feeling of gratitude, you're welcome to write it down more than one day. Just 3 original things. So your list can have 10 things, but 3 of those are new that haven't been on your list. 2 reasons why. For the original, we are creating a new habit, a new pattern. We're forcing ourselves to find out what's going well in our life. We are very good at focusing on what's not going well. It's a survival mechanism. We need to look for danger. So we are experts at that. We need to retool ourselves to now focus on what's going well also. And so that's why you want to write at least 3 original things. Hey, it's difficult. I find it hard to think of 3 things. Yeah. Then if it's difficult, that is feedback that you don't have a habituated, trained mind to pick up gratitude. There are some people that can list off 100 original things a day. So it's not an X on you that if you can't think of 3 original things easily, it's feedback that you have not created that neural pathway to quickly and easily bring up positive things. You're probably an expert at negative, what's not right in the world. Now we want you to become an habituated expert, put it into the subconscious on what's going well. The other thing, and you're going to see this with every exercise and tool we use, is to bring up the feeling. If you write a list of 10 and you don't actually feel gratitude, you're not going to get much benefit from it. You'll get more benefit from one thing that really percolates the gratitude versus 10 things that doesn't. It's not so much the writing of what you're grateful for, rather than the feeling. You're writing what you're grateful for to help elicit the gratitude and then take it in. And if you can, magnify it, multiply it, make it double, make it 10 times stronger. When you're in it, feel the gratitude. Like attracts like. So if you start to bring this in on a cellular level, that's the physiological changes. They saw brain changes. People are happier. There's things changing. Heart to brain communication. It's the emotion that's the charge. Without the feeling, I don't know if you'll get the benefit. Probably why affirmations don't work for many, because they're just repeating something without actually feeling it. It's the feeling that is the key, probably more important than the affirmation or what you write down. You want to bring up gratitude. That's why I welcome you to write down more than 3 things. And if you have something that you're grateful for and it helps you bring up the feeling, then the way I do gratitude is write that down every day if you like, because the goal is to feel gratitude. And if you have something that you can continue to write that brings up gratitude, then I say give yourself permission to write that down. And you still need 3 original things, because you're training your brain to review the last 24 hours of what you can be grateful for. And by doing that, you will start to notice more things you're grateful for. So the longer you do it, the easier it becomes, and the easier it becomes, the longer you will do it. So you just got to start and do that practice. So we are going to do a gratitude practice. So get a piece of paper. There's apps for this, gratitude. Some people type it in. I'm still old school. I think there's some power with writing, so I do keep a journal. You're welcome to keep it on your phone in notes, so you can do that. I just think if you can do it in a journal, do that, and then phone, sure, do both. But I still think writing seems to have some really good benefit. Timing, when can I do this? Should I do it in the morning or should I do it at night? They say in the mindfulness work and hypnosis training that we're most impressionable when we wake up and when we go to bed. Why? As we wake up, we come from delta into theta, into alpha, into beta. So that alpha, so you're naturally just close to that alpha as you wake up. So it's easier to get back into it. And when you go to sleep, you're in beta, and now you go beta, and then as you fall asleep, alpha, theta, delta. And so it's just a natural rhythm of doing it. It's because your brainwaves are going into that place. You can do it anytime you like. If you're having an anxious moment, pull out your journal and look at your gratitude, read back a few and write some out. I personally do it twice a day. I write it down once. Why? I do morning and night. I want to start my day with that intention, with that energy. So I want to start my day in the vibration of gratitude. So that's why I like to start my day with gratitude. It doesn't matter to me whether I think it or write it down, because I'm going to do it at least once. And then at the end of my day, I want to end my day when I go into sleep. When I go into where the subconscious is, they say that's the best time, study and all this consciousness work is before sleep, because it's naturally beta, alpha, theta. And so to me, it just makes sense to fall asleep in a state of gratitude. So I breathe in for 4, hold 4 out for 8. As I'm waking up, that's my wake up. And let's do some gratitude. And I breathe, I do some breathing, and then I do my gratitude, or I do my gratitude, lay down and continue to breathe. Okay. So just to give you some ideas, I'm saying do it at least once a day. You can do it twice. You can do it 3 times a day. Just do it once a day. And I recommend a journal that you want to keep. I wouldn't recommend a Hilroy, although you could. I think get a nice book that you're like, it feels good to just look at it, it feels valuable to look at it. So what I'm going to ask you to do is, let's just shake it off. We just had some lunch, so just give your body a little bit of a shake. And then I'm going to ask you to let yourself quiet down. And in the quieting down, just do your breathing. In for 4, hold for 4, out for 8. While you're breathing, roll your eyes up on the inhale and let them rest on the exhale. Okay? So in for 4, hold for 8. Just you're practicing and listening the breathing. So I'll do this with you right now. And then I'm going to ask you to just write down at least 3 things you're grateful for and practice the feeling of gratitude. So let's take a breath and just get rid of the air. And roll your eyes up as you inhale. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Hold 2, 3, and 4. And next, exhale out 2, 3, all the way 5, 6, 7, 8. Roll your eyes up 2, 3, and 4. Hold 2, 3, 4. Now roll your eyes down and exhale and let go 2, 3, all the way out. Keeping your eyes comfortable. Do another in-breath. So just let your eyes rest comfortably. Center. Breathe in. 1, 2, 3, 4. And a nice slow exhale on the release. And with your eyes closed again, just a little time for open focus. Just become aware that you have a left hand. So this is just showing you with the breath. You could do a 15-minute body scan, but if you want to just elicit open focus, breathe in for 4, hold for 4, out for 8. So focus on your exhale, telling your nervous system you're safe, and then play a little bit. Do I have a left hand? Can I tell I have a left hand? What about my driving finger, my middle finger? Can I tell I have a middle finger? Oh yeah, there it is. What about a right thumb? I'm going to try my left knee. Can I tell that I have a left knee? What about my right calf? Can I bring awareness there? So this is you just changing narrow focus, can't see the gorilla, to open focus. I see all opportunities now, right? And now pick up your pen and take a good 5 minutes to write down 3 things that you're grateful for. And I'm not going to ask you to share this. This is your personal what you're grateful for. List 3 things that are going well in your life. And if it's difficult, just pause and ask yourself, what can I be grateful for in my life? You know, a simple one could be, I'm grateful that I invested my time and money to be here today for myself. That could be something that you may be grateful for. And then as you write them down, bring up the feeling of gratitude. So write it down. And again, it's an inside job. Just see what you feel the gratitude. And then using your conscious mind to tell the subconscious, double it. Make it 10 times stronger. Just bathe in that gratitude. Take it in. You're imprinting on your cells now gratitude. If a thought comes in, you just say hello, pass it by, and then come back to your gratitude. I'm just going to share a few things from some of the Sean Anker stuff in his, when I follow him and read some of the business research he does. He's shown that, talks about happiness, and it's about joy and striving for your potential. So happiness is about, there's a striving for your potential, but there's a joy. So you're not so worried about hitting that horizon, right? It's just the idea, you know, you're never going to get there, but it's just the joy and striving for it. They talk about how, if I get this, then I'll be happy. And that's not how it works. It's not, oh, when I get this, I'll be happy. And so they show that successful people are happy. It's not that happy people are successful. Success, pleasure, basically, comes from the outside and is short-lived. So when you have this kind of success, you got the raise, you got the new job, you got the new car. This is a form of pleasure, and this is short-lived. It's coming from the outside. Joy from the inside is lasting. and then it manifests in your external environment. So again, totally different group of people. What I'm hearing them say, it's an inside job. The joy is an inside experience. You bring it up inside and then you see it on the outside. When you're making it happen on the outside, it's pleasure and it doesn't last. So the people that can't feel gratitude can't be happy. Back in the day, I was getting successes, but they were pleasures. They lasted and it was like a drug hit. Each success or accomplishment gave me less of a rush and lasted less. So I needed more. I mean, more and more and more. I remember when I became a doctor of Chinese medicine, I didn't celebrate anything. It was like, great, what's next? Like, I just, there's just no satisfaction. There's no feeding that wolf. And then he did some research on companies. So if you're an owner of a company, he said, when you raise the success rates, measurements of success, happiness flatlined. However, when you raise happiness inside the organization, success rose dramatically, educationally and financially. So success comes from the happiness. Happy people are successful. That's the fact. Now we get a little esoteric and remind you that healing your mind and stuff is impacting the world. And so I'm working on myself to heal my mind. I've become less concerned about what other people are doing. However, as I learn this, I want to share, because if we're all doing this, then everybody benefits, because we're like Wi-Fi's and we're putting things out into the ether. We're putting out a vibration that is somehow being picked up on a cellular level. And so are you purifying the field or toxifying the field? Are you contaminating or detoxifying the field? And so remember, what you give your attention to becomes more. And so our brains, they're showing us, are like wireless. They're wireless. They're like Wi-Fi. They're wireless, and we're connecting to each other through mirror neurons. And so when you drink a glass of water in front of me, I can do this for you. So just so you know, this has been done in research. If you look at me drinking my water, you have mirror neurons in your brain doing the same thing. You drink water in the brain. So, I have a beard. 10 years ago, nobody wore a beard, right? Now every guy has a beard. Now everybody has tattoos. We don't even realize it, but we just keep doing the same thing, right? We're mirror neurons. We just start doing what each other are doing. There's a cool experiment that I read in one of Anchor's books where they purposely put somebody at airports at the gates and have them pretend they were impatient, agitated, like tapping their feet and looking at their clock. And they observed people before and after, showing how people started getting restless and agitated and aggravated with the steward. Even though nothing was late, by the way, there was nothing late. They just started to do things to see if they could affect the group around them, which they did, and they could do the opposite. So they were able to aggravate the patrons waiting at the airport gate. So our brains are wireless, connected through mirror neurons, so we can spread negativity or joy is my point here. And that's why when my patients are sharing their story, I want to hold the space, breathe, and keep my vibration so I don't take on their vibration. I want to be there to be supportive of them and knowing that I can influence them through my Wi-Fi. Now, I know there's a lot of people on this video from the States, and I know some of you love your president and some of you hate your president. And I will share that, again, you're putting something into the field with hate, regardless, just to let you know, just to think of it from a different perspective. And so you get what you give. And so you attract that which you feel to be and that which you feel of others. And I love this expression. You probably heard this. Judging others or wishing ill towards others is no different than you drinking poison with the hopes the other will die. When you have hate and negative towards somebody else, well, if you are feeling hate, disgust, resentment, fear, that is in you. There's a chemical reaction. So it is having a physiological effect on you if you have that emotion. So if somebody is triggering you, you're at the effect of it, which is why our NAC tools are going to be so important. And if you wish ill will towards somebody else, Well, the act of having that feeling and that thought is like you drinking poison. So when you're hating somebody, you're actually damaging yourself. Something to think about. So, because we don't believe this, many of you may not believe this, but if you don't believe this, then there's no responsibility of how you think of other people. However, if you start to believe this, you're going to want to be careful of your thoughts and be careful or learn how to clean up your thoughts, because your thoughts create your reality and your thoughts have a physiological impact on yourselves. So you get what you project. That goes for the positive side too, though, right? So look at this guy at Echo Point, right? Check your inner chatter. He's saying, you're the most handsome, intelligent guy to ever come up here, right? And that's what he sent out there. And then he gets to hear that back at Echo Point. So remember, you have to feel empowered for your success to show up, this vibration. What are you putting out there? You have to feel abundant to be wealthy. You have to feel whole. You have to fill, F-I-L-L, fill your whole for healing to occur. You have to feel, F-E-E-L now, W-H-O-L-E. You have to feel whole to have healing. And you have to be in love with yourself before your lover shows up. You have to be in love with yourself before your lover shows up. It's interesting. Tomorrow we have a whole section on relationship. So I'm going to keep this simple. I got some feedback that I wasn't giving clear instructions on our breakout. So for this breakout, discuss gratitude and how you're like a Wi-Fi unit and you can be used for good. That's what I want you to do. Discuss the benefits of gratitude, and how you're a Wi-Fi unit. Let's do that for 5 minutes, please.